I recently did the Bob Ross painting Peaceful Reflections, and I noticed that the colors he uses in the sky are transparent colors, so that means that they'll work on a black canvas for a nighttime scene. So that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to do Peaceful Reflections, but with a galaxy sky. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So first I'll show you the tools we're going to be using today. So we have our 2-inch brush, our 1-inch brush, fan brush, script liner, and I have the palette knife. I'm using the smaller one, but you can use a small one or the larger one. Doesn't matter, whichever works best for you. All right, so I'll put those back down here, and we'll go ahead and get started. Since this is a black canvas, so it's covered with black gesso, and of course the gesso is completely dry. Make sure it's completely dry before you put anything on. It only takes like 20 minutes for like gesso to completely dry, so no worries. Everything's good there, that's not going anywhere. So I'm just going to take some liquid clear. I'm just going to dip my 2-inch brush into some liquid clear here. All right, so I just have like maybe it goes down about a centimeter there. With the liquid clear. It's hard to tell because it's clear. And I'm just going to dab little spots all over the canvas. And basically the reason I do this is to just ensure that I have a like thin, even application of this. So you see, I'll start off doing this little crisscross method here. But then I'll go in, you see where it's really thin, so sometimes you'll have to like scrub like this to really get it in. Scrub. With this liquid clear, you want this to be as thin as possible. If you apply it too thick, I've done it before, so believe me, believe me when I say, when it dries, sometimes the thicker parts will be, it'll be apparent. The thicker parts will be a lot shinier, and sometimes it's so thick that it'll actually like crack. So that's not good. Don't want that. So just apply a very, very thin, even coat. So this top half is looking pretty good here. Just need a little more right in there. You see how I just kind of borrowed from over here where there's a little more liquid clear, and then just put it over there. And then you also want to do long, horizontal, vertical strokes just to evenly distribute there. And of course with the liquid clear, you can always kind of like go to the side like this and make sure everything's shiny. If there's any parts that aren't shiny, of course, that's where you need liquid clear. All right, it's looking pretty good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little touch test. And basically, I don't know if you can really see it, but basically you want it to be like bouncing back at you like a drum, like pew, pew. But if you're in doubt, what you can do, if you have a shop towel, you can wipe that off. You don't want to wipe off with a paper towel because you'll get little fuzzies in there from the paper towel, so don't want that. What you can do with the paper towel though is you can put the paper towel on and then do that little crisscross stroke on top, and that'll just kind of sop up any extra liquid clear there. So I'm just going to go back in one more time and just erase my fingerprints. And of course at this time, if you have any hairs or anything like that, you can pop those out. Okay. And then for cleaning the brushes, basically all we're going to do is we're going to wipe off our brushes with a paper towel. You don't want to clean it with the paint thinner until you're completely done with the painting, because these bigger brushes like really hold on to the paint thinner, and it's almost impossible to get it completely dry in order to bring it back up to the painting. Because if you bring a brush with paint thinner up into your painting, you're going to ruin your painting. All right, so that's looking pretty good there. So basically we'll do this method, put it in the palm of your hand, just kind of give it a little give it a little twirl there. But that's all you want to do for the bigger ones, like the 1-inch brush and the 2-inch brush. The smaller brushes, you can clean the paint thinner while you're painting. That's fine, because you just blot them dry. They dry really fast, so no worries with the smaller ones. So I'm just going to continue on with the 2-inch brush here. I'm going to move my liquid clear off to the side. Don't need that anymore. All right, so for our colors. So what I like to do is I like to put them in order of when I'm going to use them. So like I have the sky colors up here. I have my like my mountain base or my tree base over here. That's coming next. This is for the tree trunks. So basically we have Indian Yellow, Alizarin Crimson, and Phthalo Blue for the sky. For our mountain mix, this is Midnight Black, Van Dyke Brown, Phthalo Blue, and Crimson. This is the exact same color, but with Phthalo Green. So, and then next door, for the tree trunk color, this is just Dark Sienna with a little bit of white mixed in. You can see it's kind of marbleized. I didn't mix it fully. And then, so down here we have our yellows and our greens. So basically these are just going to be highlight colors for bushes and trees. So this is just Cad Yellow and Sap Green. This is the same, just more sap green. And then here, same thing. Well, actually, no, this is Prussian Blue and Cad Yellow. So see the difference in there? Different greens there. And then, of course, up here, we have our yellow ochre. It's got a touch, just a touch of the sap green in there. So I'll probably put more yellow in there for highlights as well, but we'll see. Oh, and then I always like to put my white over here, because the white we're going to go back to a couple different times. So we're going to use the white for bringing out the galaxy background, but then also we're going to be using it for highlighting the mountains as well. So we'll be going back and forth with that one there. So we got to put our sky colors in. So we're going to go up to Indian Yellow here, and I'm just kind of tapping it into the bristles just to make sure it's nice and evenly distributed. And I'm getting pretty decent amount of color on there. Let's go put that down for a sec. And then see, I just want to look at the Bob one real quick. There we go. All right, so for a little galaxy area, it's going to be yellow in the middle, then crimson, then blue. And I kind of want to put that same color kind of matching into the water as well, to have like a little bit of a reflection. So we'll go ahead and put that yellow in. I'll put it all the way. And grab a little bit more of that yellow. And then we'll knock it into the water. It's kind of matching. Obviously, it's not going to be completely symmetrical, but that's no worries. Just going to move the yellow out just a little bit here. Get a little hair. Just poke that out. If you got any hairs, just poke them out with the corner of your brush there. And I'll just wipe it off. So with Indian Yellow, it's, as you can see, it's like not completely transparent, but it's transparent enough for what we're doing. It's the only yellow that's transparent enough for doing these transparent backgrounds on the black gesso here. So then we're going to go into our Alizarin Crimson next. So back to my palette. I'm just going to drag some of that color down and just, again, tapping it into the bristles here. Let's get a nice even distribution of the color there. And then we're going to go on the outsides of where that yellow is. So I'll kind of start like kind of at the base of that galaxy arm. Same over here. Mix that into the yellow a little bit. Don't want to eat up all your yellow though. I want to keep some of that. I'll tap a little bit more. Just a little bit more. And have that red extend out a little bit here. Because of course, next step will be putting the blue in, so we'll have to blend in some of that blue into the red. Okay, I think that's pretty good there. Maybe a little more red up here. And of course, because it's transparent, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where everything is, but that's kind of the fun of it too. You never know what you're going to get with these transparent ones. So just going to wipe off that brush again here. Twirly, twirly, twirl. All right, then we have our last sky color in here. So that's going to be the phthalo blue. So same thing, just drag some of that color down and tap it into the bristles there. Nice and evenly distributed. I'm just using the same brush. All right, so I'm going to start over here this time. Just going to put this, let's work that blue in. Again, don't eat up all of your red. Keep that red. Tap a little bit more blue in, and then we'll have some blue over here and over here. A little blue on right on the edge of the painting there. And make sure to put color all over the canvas too. Even if you don't get that far with the white, which is going to be the next step, it's always better to have color on there and need it than to want it and not have it. Okay, and it looks more consistent when it dries too. Because if you put like liquid clear over here, but then don't put color over there, like this part's going to be a lot shinier than the rest of it. So let's go ahead and just wipe out that blue there. All right. Just get it as clean as you can. Obviously, it's not going to get totally clean, but it's all good. It's all good. But now, I am actually going to switch over to the 1-inch brush. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take white and we're going to work our way from the middle towards the ends. And that's going to bring out that color. Now I'm not going to use a whole lot of white because we don't want this to be like super, super, super bright, because we still have to put in like the arms of the galaxy. So this is just the glow behind the galaxy arm. So I don't want this to be too bright. So I'm just going to tap in just a little bit of white. See, I'm just tapping it out basically. Just making sure it's nice and consistent. So you want it to look like it's just like a dusting of that white. Okay, so let's start with the yellow and work our way out. So I'm going to start, excuse me. Oh, there it is, a little bird. All right, let's start like right here. I'm just going to do the little crisscross here. And then we're just going to work our way out. So now we're getting into the red. So just kind of be aware of where the red is on my brush there. So since I have more red on that side, I'll switch my brush so that the red is on this side now. Now we're getting a little orange in there. I'm just going to wipe this off here. Because I'm going to go back in and I'm just going to kind of blend out that right there, what we have going on, before I get into the blue, before the blue contaminates the, the brush here. So at this point, you would say like, oh, is this bright enough? If it's not bright enough, then yes, you would go back in with more white. But for me, this is bright enough. So I'm just going to go back in with the brush wiped off there, and I'm just going to blend out some of that yellow. I don't want the center of this galaxy arm to be too bright. Switch here. And the other side. Bring a little of that orange in. A little yes, less yes, less yellow, more orange here. Okay, it's pretty good there. Now, a couple areas I'm going to blend out here. This there, and right here. Okay, that's better. Now, well, yeah, I could continue with the 1-inch brush, or I could go back to the 2-inch brush, since it already has like blue on it and everything. So maybe I'll do that. Now I'm going to put just a little bit of white on here, just a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm just going to go to this area that was kind of knocking the white off. It's just a little bit. Just a little, just enough to bring out the color, basically. So, there we go. So we're getting the red into the blue here. The same little crisscross motion there. Same step. Okay, that's good there. So let's wipe off that brush. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side here. Okay, let's see. And yeah. Let's take a little bit of, tiny bit of white. Tiny, itty bitty amount. There we go. Guess you can barely see it there. All right, so same thing. I'm just gonna start right at the base there and just kind of crisscross my way in. Mixing that red and the blue. Go back up here. a little crisscross motion. All right, just work your way all the way to the end. There you go. Back down here. Forget the reflections. More purple down here. Okay, let's kind of see where we are here. Just backing up. Okay, so I'm going to wipe this off here and go back in one more time with my 1-inch brush. Just kind of spread that yellow out to the red there. Try to bring out a little more of the red orange. Okay, and just back in here. A little more red. There we go. There we go. The red's coming out now. Just crisscrossing and blending that in. Okay, so I think pretty happy with that. So that's going to be basically the background there. And then we're going to go back in and put our little galaxy arm in there. Just going to wipe this off real good. All right. So now what we're going to do here, I'm going to take our fan brush and we're going to tap in a decent amount of white here. So I'm just tapping it into the very tips of the bristles there. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can either kind of like twist your arm like that, making these little things, but I'll show you an easier way. I'll show you an easier way. If you've ever seen Karate Kid Part 2, you might be familiar with this. So you can either go like that, or this is basically what we're going to be doing here. Like that. We're just going to be doing it with fan brush. So we're going to hold it like this and twist it like that. We're going to do it on the top and the bottom, of course, for the reflections. So I'm going to start right here, right at the horizon line, and then we're just going to and I went a little less at the end there. I'm going to go ahead, I'm not going to reload for the bottom because the bottom's going to be lighter anyways because of the reflection. So now I'm going to wipe off that brush. I'm going to do it again for the other arm. So just reload the fan brush and do the exact same thing over here. Let's see how I'm kind of moving my arm around to different spots. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing down here. There we go. All right. So I'm going to wipe that fan brush out right there. And then I'm going to take 1-inch brush. I'm just going to take this white that we put in, and we're just going to just blend a lot of it out here. Mostly from the outside, but we'll do a little blending on the inside of this galaxy arm, just a little bit. There we go, that's about enough there. Okay, same thing on the bottom here. Reflections. But again, it's just taking that white and blending it out and getting more of that color popping out here. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off that brush there. And we're going to do it to the other side. Same thing, just take it and just kind of swirl it and blend it out. Blend it a little bit on the inside here, but mostly towards the outside. So I'm just kind of using this kind of like a circular motion to do this. Let's wipe some of that off. So you can see this side's a bit stronger with the white there, so I'm going to knock it down a bit. And then the reflection side here. Okay, a little bit more down here. And so now, basically have to decide, is that strong enough, or do you want to go back in and just kind of take a couple areas and make them just like a little bit stronger. I think I'm going to do that here. But before I do that, I am just going to just blend this up a little bit more. Okay, let's wipe some of that off. Let's blend that blue into the red a little bit more. Maybe a little more up here. Okay, pretty happy with that. I'm going to go back in just one more time with some white, and just gonna hit a couple areas with a little more white. Just a couple little areas there, and a couple areas on the other side too. You know what? I think I'll adjust the size on this one too. Blend some of that out. So it's just about going back and forth, blending and re-strengthening. So I'm going to go back down here. Do the same thing here. Make this a little more narrow. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, it's a little stronger down here. Again, with the reflections, they don't have to be so strong, so it's fine. You can even blend out with the fan brush like that, a little bit here and there. It almost look like fiery. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good there. I think I'm gonna stop right there. Well, maybe. I know. I'll piddle it away. Sometimes it's hard to know when to stop. And I'll just kind of match that down here. I mean, a lot of this is going to get covered up with mountains anyway, so it's like whatever. Actually, all that's going to get covered up with mountains, so it's fine. It's fine. All right, so have the galaxy part done. One last thing you want to do on the background there. You're going to take your fan brush and you're going to dip it into a little bit, just a little bit of paint thinner. I'm just going to take like the corner and dip it into some paint thinner, tapping that out there. And I'm just going to put it into a little bit of titanium white, not liquid white. I've tried it with liquid white before, but it's not, you don't get a consistent spray for these stars. So that's what we're going to do next, these little stars. So see how I'm tapping in just like that? So this is the consistency you want. You just don't want it like dripping. So that's good there. So I'm just tapping that on. And then I'm going to take a knife, either one, doesn't matter, and we're going to flick it. So this is something that's good to practice on your palette first, just to make sure you're getting good consistency and the right distance and everything. So the closer you are, the more dense the stars are going to be. The further apart, the more of a spray you're going to get. So I'm going to start like right around here. There we go. Try to get more dense areas near the arms of the galaxy. And I'm concentrating on the top, not worrying too much about the bottom, because that's going to be all reflections anyway, so not a big deal. I think maybe just a tiny bit more over here. Oh, there we go. A tiny bit more. Okay. I think that's pretty good there. All right, let's go ahead and wipe off the knife as well as the fan brush. And we're going to put our mountain in. So let's see here. Let's Okay. I have my baby wipes. You can use those for cleaning up your hands and your palette afterwards when you're all done. Baby wipes and paper towels. You'll be using a lot of those. All right, so mountain is next. I'm going to use my little knife. I just prefer that. So again, our mountain mix here is Van Dyke Brown, Midnight Black, Phthalo Blue, and Crimson. Bob Ross Company actually does make a paint called Mountain Mix. And it's basically, yeah, just those colors mixed together, so you don't have to mix them yourself. So that saves on a lot of time and everything. But, or not, you know, just like Bob says, just mix all the dark colors you have on your palette, it's fine. It's fine. Or if you'd rather have your mountain like more to the blue side, or blue in, Prussian blue is very strong, so that's a good way to get a bluish mountain, or purple mountain, whatever you want. So I'm just going to take this color, just kind of drag it down here. And we're going to go in kind of with your knife, almost like perpendicular. I'm just going to cut off, roll of paint there. I think I've got a pretty hefty roll of paint, about a fettuccine size there. And, well, now you have to make a big decision. Because what you're going to cover up, you know, like if you have an area that you really, really, really like, you know, you don't have to make the mountain exactly like I am. You can even put your mountain on the other side so you're not covering up the part that you really like. Totally up to you. I really like that part right there, so I'm going to kind of avoid that there. I think I'm going to make like a small mountain too for this time. There we go. Now, as I'm putting this mountain up, you can kind of see I'm kind of like jiggling my hand. That's just to make the mountain like more craggy and more natural so it doesn't look like a pyramid. But also, as I'm creating the mountain, I'm also scraping that color off. Because we just want to stain the canvas with this color. Not going to worry about reflection for this part. I'll do a little bit of a reflection with white for when we put the highlight on, but yeah, don't worry about reflection for this. Borrow a little bit more of that color and just kind of swoop it. Just gonna swoop it almost all the way to the, well, okay, pretty much to the end of the canvas there. We're gonna take a 1-inch brush and we're gonna extend it all the way to the end of the canvas, so you don't have to do it with a knife just yet. I think that's pretty good for my mountain range there. I just want like a little one, because I don't want to cover up too much of the stuff that we just did. All right, so I'm just gonna wipe off my knife there. And let's grab the 1-inch brush. Here's the one I was using. It's got a little yellow on it. Let's wipe that off. Okay, that's good. And so then you're gonna go in, you're gonna take this color and you're gonna drag it out. So, but you wanna keep the edges of your mountains nice and crispy. So don't go all the way to the edges when you're doing this. Just basically take the insides of the mountain and just drag them. It's like I said before, like with this one, now we're gonna extend it all the way. There we go. Put a little of that down here. There we go, just drag, drag, drag. And then I'm just going in and just crisscrossing just to blend the base of the mountain up there. That's good. That's all you need. So I put a little bit of that mountain shape down there for reflections, just a little bit. Don't concern yourself too much with it. Okay, that's good there. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe off that 1-inch brush. And then we're going to go back in with our knife. Again, I'm using the little knife just because it works better for me. So, actually I'll clean this area up a little bit because this was the area I was using for the stars, so it's got a little bit of paint thinner in there. So I'll just use a paper towel and just kind of sop it up a little bit. Just a little housekeeping there. And it's got a little bit of that like mountain color in there, and that's fine. When we put the highlights on, it's gonna grab some of that mountain color anyway. So again, I'm just dragging out that color, make a nice little runway, and then grab yourself a little roll of paint that's like spaghetti size there. Now, since I'm right-handed, I like to work from the right to the left. So, so I'm going to start with this mountain first. So what you want to do with your mountains is you want to line up this longer side here with the long side of the mountain, and you're just going to kind of sweep. As you're sweeping, you're going to kind of turn the knife so that this pointy part is always on that side of the mountain. So let's line it up, and you're going to wait until you're going to feel when the paint grabs onto the canvas, and at that point all you need to do is guide it. So no pressure at all. So let's grab that on, like that, and then see how I have like just a few fingers holding it there. Just guide it, There you go. I'm just going to You want to wipe off your knife every time you do that, because like I said, you're grabbing that mountain base color every time you're doing this. I'm going to go back in, and I'm just going to just maneuver some of that paint down here. There we go. Okay, so wipe that off. Grab another roll of paint here. And then we're gonna do, I have a little more paint this time because this is a big mountain here. So again, just line it up. Oop, that didn't grab on too well. There we go. And just drag it down. If you see, I feel like I'm almost going to drop my knife there, and that's good. That's a good thing. If you drop your knife, that means you're holding on to it lightly enough. It's true. All right, wipe that off, and then I'm going to go back in. I'm going to do a little bit more. I'm going to start over here, just to get another little craggy bit there. Wipe that off. And then I'm going to do a little swirly thing here. Watch this. Just a little swirly thing. Again, wipe that off. Don't worry if you think you're like dragging the white down too far. It's always better to drag it down further than you think, because what we can do is we can go back in, we can just tap that white out and just make just a nice misty bottom for the mountains. So I got more white in here. I'm just kind of dragging in, just kind of filling in cracks there. little more white for this area right here. Just want to make this a little stronger. There we go. Sometimes I jiggle like that to get it up where I want. And then wipe that off. And we have this little peak hiding up here, so let's give him a little highlight as well. All right, so now we have to do the shadow of the mountain. So like each peak here has to have a shadow part. So let's grab, for the Bob version, for the shadow of the mountain, he just uses white and phthalo blue. So I think I want mine a little bit darker because with the galaxy, there's not like a whole bunch of blue showing up. So I think I'm just gonna do maybe white with the mountain mix, but a little bit blue. So let's do that. So I'm going to gather up, that's where I was wiping off. I got a little bit of white left right here. So let's grab a little bit of blue, a little bit of mountain mix, mix that up together. Might need a little more white, that's okay. There we go. Actually, it might be good. Let's try that. Let's try that. I have to make sure I don't have paint on my fingers before I scratch my nose. Okay, so I'm gonna go up here. It's gonna, ooh, that's pretty. Yep. I like that. I like that. So basically with the highlight, what I'm doing is I'm going right up to the crest there and just, again, just dragging it down, just no pressure. As Bob says, the canvas takes off what it wants and leaves you with the rest. So, and then you can also take the little part of your knife and then go in and drag a little bit. So you can always do that. I'm gonna grab, actually gonna put a little bit of that on the small end of the knife and go in right in here. Make this crest a little more defined. That's good. I'm gonna do the same thing over here because I have it nice and jaggedy over here, so I'm just gonna drag. And I'll go back to the long side here. And just drag over, just very lightly. Drag. And then you can start pulling it in the same direction as this one if you want. There we go. Like so. Neat. All right, so the only one we have left is that one right there. So, another little roll of paint on my outside brush on the knife. It's the same thing, just go right up and then just drag it down. That's it. Grab a little more paint, just a little bit. Maybe a little more. That's the thing, if you put a little bit of paint on and you run out, no big deal, just add more. Not a big deal. Oops, there we go. kind of like how it's mixing in with the galaxy colors there. That's fun. That's a happy accident. Our mountain got a little bigger than I anticipated. That's okay. That is a-okay. So I'm going to do here, I'm going to wipe off my knife, and then what I was saying earlier, I'm going to take, let's take the 1-inch brush and just kind of, you can just kind of tap where you drag the highlight and the shadow. Just tap that up and let's make it nice and misty. Tap on the other side here. That's pretty neat. Now I gotta make a big decision. Do I want to keep that really dark? Or I think I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of the knife, just a little bit of that color on the knife, and just put a little more color in here, just a little bit. Just a little. Don't want too much because I want that dark area to separate these two mountain ranges here. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I think that's good for our mountain. You know what? I think I want it maybe a little mistier. So yeah. Yep. Oh, this is a hard decision. I think I'm gonna do it though, yeah. I'm gonna put a little more white out here. I'm gonna tap a little bit of white into my 1-inch brush here. And I'm just gonna tap some white in here, just kind of make it nice and, it's a little more misty. I want to have a nice misty area because my next step is to put in some background trees. So I want to have something for them to be able to stand out against. Do the opposite side for this one. Okay, there's one other ulterior motive for me to do this. I'm going to take some of that white and I'm going to drag it down for reflections. Might need a little more white. Yeah, a little more white for that. I'm just going to tap that right onto my 1-inch brush here. I'm going to drag straight down for reflections there. Turn the other side. More white. I'm going to wipe that off. There's a lot of colors going on down there. Maybe a little more white right here because of the mountain. Don't cover too much though. Still want to be able to see those pretty colors in there. Let's do a little bit on the other side here. And we pretty much covered up our galaxy, but that's okay. It's still a little bit there. It's still a little bit there. But again, up to you. If you don't want to put a reflection in and keep the galaxy reflection, that's fine. I kind of, I go back and forth. Sometimes I keep it, sometimes I don't. All right, and then all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take that brush, wipe it out real good, and then we're just gonna go 2 hairs and some air. Just back and forth, just make it nice and watery. That's it, that's all we're doing. That's it, that's all. Nice. Yeah, you know what? A little more white here just because we have mountain over here, so just to match the mountain a little bit more. All right, that's good. I'm pretty happy with that. Every once in a while, step back and look. Step back and look. Okay, doing good, doing good. So, like I said, the reason I put that misty part in is so I could put in a line of background trees. So, what we want to do, we've got this this color here that we're going to use for the trees, and we're going to use this color for the base for everything from now on, from the trees and the bushes and the grass. So it's that same mountain mix color that we did, the Midnight Black, the Van Dyke Brown, Phthalo Blue, and Alizarin Crimson, but now we have Phthalo Green in there. So now it's going to look like a really, 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 really dark green for your mountain or for your tree base. Now what I'm going to do is I already have a little bit of that mixed up here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of that, and then I'll take a little bit of that too. I'm going to mix it in with my mountain base there. Let's do a little more white. There we go. So I just want like a grayish, bluish, greenish color. That looks good to me. So it's going to be standing right in front of our mountain there. So I'll go ahead and wipe that knife out. And we're going to go back to fan brush. So we call these crash down trees, and I'll show you why. So first to load them, I'm going to wiggle in some color, and they're going to drag. So you're loading both sides, but drag in one direction. Okay. And we're going to crash down these trees. So basically you're going to use, chisel that a little bit more here. You're going to use the top corner of your brush, and you're going to crash down. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. And just put a whole bunch of them in here, different sizes. You see now I'm starting to run out of paint, so I'm going in. I have some thinner ones in there. Just gonna reload here. I'm going to have them get thinner over here, or small. Well, the line's going to get smaller because this part's going to get closer to us and this part's going to get further away from us. But see also how when I'm doing this, I'm also tapping some in the water as well. So we're going to make reflections out of some of those. I think I want these darker. Let let's take a little more. It's going to make that color just a little bit darker. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to continue over here, but then I'm going to go back in with the dark color and just kind of intersperse some darker trees in there. So this will be kind of like the first line. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just go all the way. Again, better to have it and not need it than to wish you had it there. So I'll show you real quick before I put the next line of trees in, because I'm just going to go over these ones, but just with that darker color. But I'll show you doing the reflections. So back to the 1-inch brush. And we're just going to go right up to where the water line is and just drag it down, straight down. There we go. And same thing as before, wipe it off, 2 hairs and some air. Drag it across. Very, very lightly, especially when you're doing a light color reflection. The harder you push, like the more it's just gonna go away. So let's go back. Just wipe out that color from here. I'm gonna go back in with the darker color. Same thing. Let's do crash down trees right on top here. There we go. Reload. You'll have to reload frequently because as you're doing this, you're going to be losing your chiseled edge that you have on your brush. I think I want it to be a little lighter back here anyway, because that's going to be the part that's furthest away from us. So let's re-chisel. Just make sure the trees kind of like connect at their base. All right. Continue to the other side. Re-chisel. And the reason I made this a little lighter is because this is still kind of far away from us. We're going to have some trees that are closer to us, and they're going to be real big, and they're going to have the dark base color without any white in it, because we'll be highlighting those ones. Okay, that's better. So again, I'll wipe out that fan brush. I think I want to go in and just make that one a little lighter. There we go. And then, same thing as before. Let's do the reflections. So I'll grab my 1-inch brush and just drag straight down. You got to decide where your water line is, and if you're not happy with your water line, this is the time to change it. So I want my water line to get a little lower over here as these trees get a little closer to us. There. And then the same thing as before. Go across. Make it watery. 2 hairs and some air. There. All right. So we have our little tree reflection there. So before we start coming forward, I'm going to put a little bit of a water line in here. So, I need to get out my liquid white. If you don't have liquid white, you can just use titanium white and then just put a little thinner in there just to thin it out. If you use straight titanium white for this, you're going to get a really thick water line and it'll look kind of chunky. Okay, so I'll grab my knife, little one, big one, doesn't matter. And grab a little bit of liquid white. I'm just going to put that on my palette here. So again, I'm just going to flatten that out. And the way I like to load it, I like to come from the bottom and kind of push up. So that way you're getting paint just on the edge of the knife. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of in the middle here. And this is where you're going to act like you're sawing into the canvas. I'm going to get a little more paint there. Reload. There we go. If it's a little too thick, you can just go back and just saw again. There you go. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side here. Let's start here. And as it's coming forward, I'm kind of dropping down. So you want to keep this level. You don't want to go this way because then it'll look like your water's running off of your canvas. Don't want that. You just want to like go straight down like a stair steps. Like that. Do a little more. Okay, I'm just gonna go back in, wipe that off one more time right here. Just gonna. Okay, there, I'm happy with that. Well, maybe. Yeah, I'll make this a little thinner because we're going to have some big old trees over here, so. Okay. Now, we're going to start coming forward. So let's go back to our fan brush. I'm going to put in some big old trees. Let's see. I think I need to make a little more of that base color. So let me grab a little more of the phthalo green. Here we go. A little more phthalo green. There we go. It wants to twist back on. There we go. And what I like to do is I like to use the small knife for mountains and, well, most of the painting stuff. The larger knife, I just use that for mixing. So here we go. Here's our mountain mix. Plus I can throw some more phthalo green in there. So, ooh, just mix that all together. Ooh, that's a lot. But the cool thing is if you, make sure it doesn't flop over there. If you mix too much paint, it's fine. Just take the leftover paint, throw it in a Ziploc bag, throw it in the freezer. Use it another day. Oh, that's so pretty. I love that color. Love that color. Wow. Okay. So I'm gonna have to have to galaxy one with that green color. Oh, that's like emerald green. Okay. Anywho, oh, look how much paint. Okay, now we got a lot of paint to work with. We will not run out of this color. I'm gonna wipe off my knife here. And then we're gonna go into and bring back the fan brush. We're gonna load it the same way. Drag it both directions, or one direction, both sides. Evergreens, happy trees are my favorite part. My favorite part. I've been painting trees like this since middle school, and I learned from Bob. So we have a little like projection over here. So let's make a tree right about here. So to start your evergreen, you just want to kind of tap in a little line, kind of like we just did with our crash down trees. Reload, same way. And then to start the trees, you want to just use the very corner of the fan brush. And notice how my handle is pointing down. That means the branches are going to be curving downwards like that. If you want your branches curving upwards, then point your handle towards the sky. So I'm going to give it a little room up top there. It's kind of dark on dark, so it's kind of hard to see here. Now you see it. But as I'm moving further down the tree, I'm using more and more of my brush. So now I'm using the full brush here. We're going through that thick part of liquid white there, so we're just gonna have to smash it in. Oop, I think we're gonna stop right there, because like I said, there's gonna be a little bit of a platform there. And let's see, I'm gonna have a friend right here. Reload, get a little space, and then just start with just the corner of the brush there. Now this one's gonna be hanging off the side. That's okay. All right, and let's do one more tree over here. One more tree right here. Okay, resharpen. This area is a little lighter, so you can see me do the tree better over here. Okay, so again, just start with the corner, go out to one side, back to the middle, out to the other side, back to the middle, out to the other side, back to the middle, and just keep going like that. And reload frequently. Use a lot of paint for this. And end it right about there. Like I said, we're gonna have a little platform. Yeah, let's go ahead and fill in that area. Like I said, I'm gonna have a platform right here, so. Just an area for them to sit on here. And you know what, I'll dab a little bit of that color right there for some reflections for the trees. Smashing a little of that color there. There, that's good. Okay, so since those are reflections, what I'm gonna do is take my 1-inch brush. Again, just kind of pull straight down for those reflections there. Ooh, see that green against that yellow? Oh, wowzers. Ooh, that's pretty. That's pretty. And then again across. Boop, boop. There we go. A little straggler there. Bloop. Nice, okay. I think I might want to highlight with some of that like Indian yellow. That might look cool. Make it look otherworldly. But before we decide on that, we gotta do this side. So this side's gonna be even closer. So again, load the fan brush. Make sure it's got a nice chiseled edge there. And okay, this one's gonna be taller than this one. So the tallest tree over here is right there. So I don't want to do matchy-matchy. I want to be a little taller. So we're gonna, of course now it's matchy-matchy with that mountain, but that's okay. We can always make it taller. But let's fill it in and see where we are. So give a little space. When you're making a tree over these mountains, like I said, it's really thick there. It's got a lot of paint there, so you're gonna have to use even more paint for the base of the mountains. So we're going over that liquid white area there. See, this tree's hanging on the side there. This one's gonna go all the way down, so I'm gonna reload. I'm just gonna fill that in because it was looking messy. Little further out on that one. There. Okay. I think, oh yeah, that's looking good. Okay, that is good, that is good. So, let's. I think, I don't know, that's kind of bothering me now. Yeah, let's just get rid of that altogether. That little part of that mountain is popping through, but it's just distracting now. So what I'll do is I'll make this tree even taller. Start the branches earlier. That way I can just get rid of that. There we go, it's gone now. Perfect. Okay, that will do. All right, I'm going to wipe out that fan brush there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and, well, you know what? Trying to think. Yeah, I'm going to keep it like this for just a sec. I'm going to mix it in with that kind of yellowy color and see what we get for highlight color. I think we'd do a couple different highlight colors for these trees here. But first, I'm going to put trunks in for the trees. So I have this, what I mentioned before, is just dark sienna and white. And see, I left it all marbledy. So again, just kind of just drag it out, nice and flat there, and cut a little roll of paint off. And what we're going to do is we're just going to just touch in a little bit of a tree trunk. And since when I cut it so that the paint is on this side, so I'm going to angle it just a little bit. A little bit more. Oh, it doesn't want to come off. Let's try again. There we go. So we are just touching. That's it, just touching. So you don't want to make an entire solid line when you're doing these tree trunks, because of course when you're looking at a tree trunk, you're not, well, you're looking at a tree, you're not seeing the entire trunk, you're just seeing a little bit here and there. Make it a little more standoutish there. There, that's good. So let's wipe off some of that. If you made it a little too thick, you can just go back in and just touch it a little bit. Make it a little thinner. Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight those trees. So I'm gonna take this brush I have here. It's still stained with that base tree color. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of liquid white with that brush. And I'm gonna dab it into my mix of yellow, cad yellow, and sap green. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so it made this interesting kind of bluish green here. So for loading it, all I'm doing is just bouncing it, just tapping it just like that. Notice how the handle again is pointing towards the ground. That way you can already see it forming on there. That way you get the branches hanging downwards. So I'm going to test on this guy right here. So we're just going to tap very lightly, and the color should just come right off. If you're pushing hard, you're going to be a mud mixer, and you're going to mix your highlight color right into your base color. You don't want that. You want it floating on top, basically. And if you want, you can go back in and touch a little bit underneath the highlight to blend it a little bit if you want. That's up to you. I like to blend it a little bit because I like my highlights darker. Now I'm not reloading. I am just going to touch this one just a little bit because this one's kind of behind. See, I touch a little bit. So this one's behind this tree, so I'm just gonna highlight this one just very sparingly. Okay, I think that'll do it for that tree. And yeah, if the highlights get out of control on you, you can just tap them a little bit more and kind of blend them away. Or you can go back into that dark color and re-put in your darks. You can do that too. I think I was saying I want some of that Indian yellow. So let's wipe that fan brush out a bit. I'm going to clean it in the paint thinner. All right. Like I said, with the smaller brushes, you can clean them in the paint thinner and they will dry really fast because all you have to do is just blot them. Just blot them dry like that. Not a biggie. Okay. I'm just going to take this straight into the Indian yellow. Let's see what we get here. So I still have a little Indian yellow left here. So I'm going to bounce my brush right into that color. I don't know. Let's test it. Let's test it and see. Let's test it. Ooh. I think I do want a little more green in there though. I think so. So let's grab a little bit of that green from earlier. There we go. And I'm going to grab a little bit of liquid white just to make it stick. Okay, there we go. So I grabbed a little bit of that that greenish base color we had here. See, now it's more of like, almost like an olive green. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, that's good. Going out to this side because this one's in front. There we go. Here. Yeah, I like that. And I'm going to do that same color over here. I like that one. Okay. Same thing. Now, the reason I'm starting highlighting the tree kind of in the middle there is because when you first are starting, of course, with the highlights, you have the most paint on when you first go in. So I don't want like too much paint right up here where the branches are very small, because then they'll like too highlighted. There we go. See, now I have enough. Just a little bit. There we go. And the base of the tree should have less intense highlights because the branches are thicker at the bottom. Okay. And let's see. So now I have to make a decision with this right here. Do I want that to be maybe a little bit of ground? I think I do. So here's what I'll do. So I could either have the tree go all the way down or grab more of that base color and just make a little ground here. Or we could put bushes in there as well. Totally up to you. I might. Oh heck, why not? Why not? We've got all these highlight colors to use, right? So let's do a bush like right here. Maybe another smaller one right there. Maybe they kind of meet up in the middle. And then maybe just one over here. Maybe one at the end here. Okay. Why not? Why not? So, what we'll do now, let's go ahead and highlight those bushes. So, like I said, I have some extra highlight colors to use. So I have, I'm just going to grab a little bit of liquid white just to make sure it sticks here. So I'm going into my Cad Yellow Phthalo Green mix. So what I'm going to do for the highlight, I'll show you real quick. I'm going to drag, pull up, drag, pull up, drag, pull up. You see that little sponginess there? That's what you're looking for. If you see it on the palette, you're going to see it on your bush. So, when you're dragging, pulling up, it's going to round that bottom corner. So flip that corner towards the top. And then what we're going to do, you're going to use the top to do the highlights. You're going to rock around the clock. So you're going to just very lightly press, just go 1, 2, 3, rock around the clock there. I'm going to do the other side. I think I have more paint on that side. There we go. And I'm going to tap a little bit into the water too, just for reflections there. I really like that color. I'm gonna do that color on the other side. There we go. Yeah, I like that. So let's go boop, 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 boop. Nice. And a little more. Maybe a little lighter. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna wipe that brush off. See, these two are bothering me a little bit because they're a little lighter. So what I'm gonna do is what I mentioned earlier. I'll take my fan brush, clean it off there. I'm gonna take a little bit of that dark color, the dark base color. I'm just gonna darken those highlights up a little bit. There, that's better. Maybe there too. My highlights got a little out of control there. just a little bit. Maybe, yeah, these two too. I'm gonna separate those so they don't just look like one big highlight. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay. There, just break that up a little bit. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Darken that up a little bit. Okay, let's go to, oh, let's see. I haven't used that yellow ochre color at all yet. So let's use that. So again, I'm gonna just put a little bit of liquid white into the brush here, just to make it stick. And I'm gonna tap that liquid white into my highlight color. So I'm just gonna drag, pull up, drag, pull up, drag, pull up, drag, pull up, drag, pull up. That looks good. And flip it. And then rock around the clock. Touch very, very lightly. And a little bit for reflection, just a little bit. And I think I'll go back to that Indian yellow green mix that I made for this last little bush over here. Ooh, I'm getting messy. Ah. It's like, where's this paint coming from? I got paint all on the side. I don't know how that happened. Maybe the brush rolled into the paint. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let's grab the rest of my Indian yellow green mix there. Let's throw it into here. Let's find a clean spot. There we go. That's good. I don't want to fully mix it and just leave it marbledy. Leave it marbledy. I have like a multitude of colors going on. So, yeah, again, just a little bit of liquid white just to make sure it's gonna stick here. Put that in. All right. So drag, pull up, 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 drag, pull up. Looks good. Flip it. And then tap, 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 tap. There. Nice. Now we've got to decide what color we want our little grassy areas there. I think, since I've already got this color on my brush, I'm just gonna mix it in with that greenish color. There we go. So what I'm gonna do for the grass, I'm gonna hold my brush horizontally. So I'm just gonna tap to load. There we go. Gonna make sure that's nice and even. There. Okay. And we're just gonna tap. See, I still have it horizontal. So we're just gonna tap very lightly, horizontally. So we're gonna tap a line in and then tap underneath. When you're tapping underneath, it automatically blends in. There we go. Look at that. I'm just gonna tap a little bit more behind. Just a little darker there. That's good. And maybe a little, flip my brush a little bit. Just a little stronger in a couple areas here. All right, I'm gonna use the same color over here because I like that color. All right, that's good there. Bristles nice and separated. And tap, 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 tap. Okay, that looks good. There is, well, 2 more steps. Kind of. 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 steps. 3 steps left. I'm gonna wipe out my brush. I'm going to, again, because these are highlight colors, you want to pull these down very, very, very gently. Very gently, like barely. I used too much pressure the other day and had to like re-put them in. So that happens. So just barely, 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 barely. Barely, barely. Again, if you lose it, just put them back in. There, that's good. Okay. Now, I'm going to use that sepia color, well actually, let's use, I'm just going to go in just with the sepia color. Just cut off a little roll of paint, a little roll of paint. I already have like a little darkness going on here. So I'm just gonna smooth over a little bank here. I think that looks too pink. Not quite happy with that. Let's go back over with, let's use sepia in that green color. Ooh, kind of made a red. Let's go back in. Let's go back over. Let's make a little muddy bank. And then I'll just add a little bit of white to that color. Now, let's see if that's better. Just want a little bit of this color. This part's really thick, so just like the mountain, it's just gonna grab what it wants to. There, that's good. Even then, some areas are a little too light for me, so I'm just gonna just going to go over and go over a couple of the lighter areas here. Okay, that's better. Maybe this one. Yeah, that one's a little light. It's all about adjusting. Dark and light, dark and light. That's better. Just nice and dark. It is nighttime after all. So I'm going to go back in and put the water line in just like we did way back here. So same thing. Where we go, I still have my liquid white flattened out here, so I'm just going to go in and get a little bit right on the edge of the knife. And then start from over here and work my way down here. So this comes down a little bit, so I'll kind of like just go down a little bit like that. So I'm going to start here. Reload. I think here. This part needs to come down just a little bit more here. Yeah. There we go. And that part's a little thick for me, so I'm going to go back in. Let's thin it out a little bit. That's better. Let's stand back and kind of see where we are. Maybe. Oh, that's the end of the roll. There we go. It's a little more varied now. Make that better. That's better. Okay, let's stand back, see if there's anything else. I think that's pretty good. I think we will call it right there. All right, cool deal. So yeah, just show you that you can take a Bob episode for inspiration. You can alter it just by changing the time of day or time of year, whatever. Just make it your own. There's a million things you can do. There's no end to your creativity. So. All right, thanks again for painting with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification button. That way, whenever I drop a new tutorial, you'll be the first to know. All right, see you next time. Bye-bye.